Well...
But I would still catch some trains. Arriving right now is the Portland section of the Empire Builder. The train was operated by an ALC-42 Big Arm, ALC-42 One Arm, ALC-42 Overalls, ALC-42 Hillbilly? Wait, what? ALC-42, one of those charging things. Okay, close. ALC-42 Charger locomotives. 75 and later 50 more, becoming 125. ALC-42s were ordered in 2018 and entered service in 2022. These are part of the Siemens Charger family, a locomotive type used by Amtrak and many other railroads. And fortunately, these locomotives and the rest of the Charger family are pretty well liked by most of the railfan community. Nah, I'm just kidding. In typical railfan fashion, railfans were about as happy with the ALC-42s and the Siemens Charger family in general as this guy from a random pyrocynical video I screenshotted for a previous Q&A video is happy with anime and people who like anime existing. And to be honest, I think they're way too overhated. But I guess that is just the side effects from one too many doses of hatred of new rolling stock. Despite having a rough entry into service, these locomotives have been performing way better now compared to 2022, and much to the denialism of the Siemens Charger hatedom, are even performing better than the Smokers Genesis that they're set to replace. Speaking of Chargers, or if you're a 5008 Creations fan, a Charger, here's an original SC-44 leading an Amtrak Cascades train into Portland.
I've been constantly seeing 32 axles needed on a lot of routes.
The Amtrak Cascade service has its own paint scheme, and the locomotive leading WDTX 1406 shows so. But the coaches, which are Horizon cars, don't match the locomotive, but the cars did for the most part until 2021. And that's because the Talgo 6 sets, which ran on the route, weren't very helpful in crashes, and I think they were even banned outside of the Cascade service. And an unscheduled station stop on the I-5 in 2017 sealed their fate, resulting in them ultimately being retired. 2 Talgo 8 sets run on the Cascades, though, so they still have some identity. Unfortunately, the Horizons didn't give any of that. The good news is that the Amtrak Aero cars for the Cascades will be entering service in 2026, giving the Amtrak Cascades identity back to its trains, and allow for a higher capacity than the Talgo 6s, give passengers a safer type of rail car than the Talgo 6 sets, as well as the potential for adding more frequent trains on the Cascade service. The bad news is that the original 2024 entry into service date was pushed back to 2026 because of some cafe car redesigns or something, and because of that, the Aeros didn't arrive in time for a massive Horizon car corrosion problem to hit Amtrak. After my visit, Amtrak pulled all of its active Horizon cars out of service, and if this article were to be believed, these cars were probably ticking time bombs that were about to go off at any moment. Info varies, and some say that the Horizon cars are now forced into early retirement since the Amtrak Aeros are on their way, as well as Venture coaches, and they would enter into service soon anyways, while others say that Alstom, who succeeded Bombardier, who originally built the Horizons, are fixing the problem. Either way, this has created problems for Amtrak, especially the Cascade service, which relied on these cars until then. Amfleets from the NEC are in place of the Horizons until either some Horizons come back or the Cascades fleet of the Aeros enter into service. Right now. This train also had a baggage car on the rear for some reason. I thought that it could be for axle cams, but it doesn't look like that's the case. There's also P42 DC-72. Some of the Genesis locomotives are currently being used as a bit of cab cars until cab cars arrive.